Yes. Hello, my beautiful friends. It is an amazing evening. I thank you so much for joining us as we round out day 4 of the DNC. It's happening right now. We're going to poke around as we wait for Kamala to come out here and give us her big debut, her big nomination speech. We're going to look at some other stories today. Right now, if you zoom in on the DNC, we're not missing anything too critical. It's been some people talking about a tragedy in their lives related to the boom boom sticks. And of course, they're going to blame, I guess, right-wingers for gun violence or something that happened upon their kids. Anyways, we're not going to beat up on grieving moms. It's, I think, kind of despicable that the Democrats try to squeeze every ounce of political juice out of every single thing to try to diminish your rights. But they're talking about that right now. We'll keep our eye on what's happening, but we've got some other stories that happened today. So as to save some of our IQ points as we're going through day 4, we're going to try to, break it up a little bit. It's like you don't climb Mount Everest of Democrat insanity. You just take little breaks. You don't do it all in one fell swoop. You got to take little breaks and acclimate. Okay, so we're going to do that today. As we go through, we've got some J13 updates. The real attack on American democracy was on J13 when they tried to take out President Trump. Apparently, this guy had some real interesting foreign accounts. Representative Michael Waltz is going to give us some background on that. And it also sounds like, according to Susan Crabtree, that some Secret Service agents were actually placed on leave. So they're not going to be around anymore. And this goes all the way back. This is wild. This goes all the way back to one of those stories we talked about, over a year ago, I think it was. Those 2 dudes who were like fake DHS agents and fake Secret Service agents. And nobody really knew who they were, but they had the badges and the patches and they were hanging out with a bunch of people. It was the weirdest story. And now it might go all the way back to that. So we'll get an update on J13 and the Secret Service. We'll also look at what happened with Trump today because, he's in Arizona. Shout out, I can feel it in my bones. Trump's in the house. And so he is down at the border, or was down at the border today. I've got a couple clips on that queued up. He gave a nice talk. He had some very emotional people come to the forefront and talk about how the border has impacted them, largely in the loss of a loved one killed by an illegal person who's not supposed to be here. But we got clips on that. We got reaction on that. The Republican Party also had a victory today in Arizona. So we covered, I believe it was last week or maybe earlier this week. It all blends together. But we covered that petition to the United States Supreme Court about re-implementing the Arizona law that was going to make it a lot more difficult for non-citizens to register to vote or to vote in federal elections. We read the Arizona petition to Scotus, and then 24 states came back out and joined in with them to Scotus, and they're knocking on their door and they're saying, hello, can you please allow us to regulate our own elections? The state legislature has deemed that to be appropriate. We've passed some legislation accordingly and allow us to protect ourselves. And so we're very weird, a procedural history because it went up to the Ninth Circuit. And they actually said, yeah, Arizona, you can do this. You're allowed to do this. And then it got reversed again by the Ninth Circuit. Then it went up to the Supreme Court. Long story short, Supreme Court granted a partial victory on this. So we'll understand what it means. We'll go through it, see what is inside of that opinion. It's very short, just a 1-pager, but there's a lot of explanation to it. So some good news in Arizona from the Supreme Court, looking like there will be some limitation, not all of it. It's kind of a split, partial victory, partial loss, but we'll take that at least based on what we're seeing elsewhere like New York. So we've got that. Then RFK. Whoo, man, this is heating up. So Trump is also going to be in Arizona tomorrow in Glendale, right down the road, about 30 minutes from your boy here. We are planning on attending tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to involve a special guest. And so that special guest is rumored to be RFK Jr. We're looking forward to that. I think it'd be a good move and a good call. And so I've got a couple updates on this. Nicole Shanahan, the VP candidate, was out and she had some posts on this. And so we'll see what the latest is on that. Before we jump into what's going on with the DNC, there was a bunch of other activity. I've got clips from several people. Greg Abbott's responding to the border stuff. We've got reaction to Tim Walz and his promises on education, the Biden administration still causing havoc. And we're waiting for a special guest over from the DNC. Apparently it's like Beyonce or Taylor Swift or somebody like that. So, all right, we'll wait and see. Now, we just missed a little bit of Kathy Giffords and Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona. And so let's tune in and see what's happening here at the DNC before we jump into anything else. All right, so I choose freedom to live without the fear of gun violence. All right, so it's going to be a gun violence thing. Oh, the sun just decided to shift right as we started. Oh, the sun. It moves in the sky, doesn't it? I forgot about that. So, all right, so they're talking about, I guess, gun violence in schools. And I think they're going to blame right-wingers who aren't responsible for these things. Somebody should check with the CIA, maybe see if they know anything about it. But the Democratic National Convention, let's see, let's just jump in here for a minute.
In November, we have Kamala Harris, who has already proven her leadership in the Biden-Harris administration.
Doing what,
They passed
young
the
man?
first ever comprehensive gun reform in 30 years. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has cozied up to the NRA and the gun lobby.
I have full confidence in Vice President Harris that she's dedicated to and committed to finding a solution to end gun violence.
All right, so let's see who the next speaker is, and then we may jump into a story or see what's going on here. So is Beyonce coming out? We may jump into a story. Let's see.
Three-time Grammy-winning singer-songwriter and global pop icon.
Who is it?
Pink.
Oh, it's Pink. Oh, is she going to sing a song? Oh, it's going to be Pink. All right, it's going to be like a really somber song about saving America or something. All right, well, we're just going to spare it. All right, we'll see if Beyonce comes out. All right, we've got other things to talk about. So, all right, my friends, so we'll spare that. All is going to be good fun. They've got this kid singing now. Oh, gosh. All right, so we'll definitely jump out of that one. All right. And so we've got some stories coming up, my friends. We're going to have a long night together. We're going to wait until Kamala comes out because she is going to be out. Apparently, we're thinking at about, let's see, maybe an hour from now. No, actually like 23 minutes from now, maybe. We don't really know. Now, the other thing that we're going to keep our eye on is going to be Trump today because Trump is going to be posting about this. He actually promised that he was going to be live truthing this puppy today. And we've got his Truth Social account pulled up. And we're not seeing any recent posts from the president himself, but we are waiting for that coming up soon. So he is in Arizona. We've got a bunch of posts. And he says, yeah, the latest update from Trump is this one. So Trump says, Pocahontas is now speaking at the DNC. She was earlier. She used her fake Indian heritage to scam the system. Her mother told her that she had, quote, high cheekbones, and therefore she was Indian. Who would use this hoax on applications everywhere, like Harvard? It worked until she got caught. Remember that? 10,024th Indian. Remember? All right, so that's from Trump. And I also saw our friends over at The Blaze. They said something like she came out crying, and they had a reference to Elizabeth Warren bringing with her a trail of tears as she walked onto the stage. All right, so that was from The Blaze. All right, so good one. That was a good one. That one got me pretty good. All right, so let's see what else is cooking today, my friends. Okay, so Pink is singing right now. We're going to come back and check in on that. Before we jump into any of this juicy business that we have to attend to today, let's make sure that we get prepared out there. And of course, one of the ways we can get prepared is with our friends over at The Wellness Company. And so we're excited to share with us, with everything here, our friends at The Wellness Company, as soon as I can get this pulled up here. First of all, my friends, it's important that we are prepared because the world is getting more unpredictable by the day. We've got assassination attempts, rumors of civil war. We've got unstable stock markets. We've got the bird flu threat looming everywhere. It's on everyone's minds. And so Do you know that they've got a summit coming up in October? It's eerily reminiscent of that old event 201 that foreshadowed COVID. And get this, it's the first topic on the agenda that we have seen here, mass fatality management planning. And so if that doesn't send chills down your spine, I don't know what will. But here's the good news. You don't have to be scared. If you're prepared, the Wellness Company created the medical emergency kit. Every home in America should have at least one of these babies. They're packed with life-saving medications like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. It's got antibiotics, amoxicillin, even Z-Paks in there. And so it's backed by people like Dr. Peter McCullough. And so you can imagine this, not searching for a doctor, not waiting around in emergency rooms, just a few clicks. This kit's delivered to your front door. And in times like these, having a medical emergency kit, it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity. And so protect your family now. Head over to twc.health/Robert. Use code Robert. You can save $30 off when you check out. And don't wait until it's too late. Act now. Take control. Ensure you're protected against whatever comes next. twc.health/Robert. Use code Robert at checkout. You'll save at the website. Links in the description below. And so get protected, my friends, from our friends at the Wellness Company. All right. And so thanks for supporting our sponsors, my friends. Their links are down in the description below. And so let's see where we're at. We've got a nice little video montage from Kamala that just dropped. And
that underwrites
here is
global stability,
a highlight reel,
and our national security.
Let's see who's coming next. Pink's done.
Please welcome Arizona Senator Mark Kelly.
Okay, so he's from Arizona.
Hello, Chicago.
He's the astronaut.
Hello, Democrats.
They got some flags there today.
So, President Obama had to follow Michelle. I had to follow Gabby and Pink. Gabby amazes me every single day. She was able to walk out and address you tonight because she's a fighter. And thanks to a team of doctors, nurses, and especially her speech therapist. We all need a team. I've flown into space 4 times. I've flown into combat nearly 40 times. Not
like Tim Walz, though.
Once did I do that by myself. It took a team to accomplish a mission. It always does. I flew in the Navy during the first Gulf War. America rallied our allies to kick out a tyrant who invaded a neighbor. Today, Vladimir Putin is testing whether we're still that strong. Iran, North Korea, and especially China watch closely. What's Trump's answer? He invited Russia to do, and these are his words, not mine.
Here we go.
Whatever the hell they want.
Well, that's if NATO doesn't pay their bills, punk. They got to pay their bills. We're not an endless money machine.
Has always championed America's support for NATO, for Ukraine.
Why? Why should we support NATO? They don't even care about our free speech. They're interfering in our elections.
People. On the Senate Intelligence Committee, she investigated Russian interference in our election. She defends free and fair elections everywhere.
Who?
You already know how Trump feels about those. Donald Trump skipped his intelligence briefings. He was too busy sucking up to dictators, and dreaming of becoming one himself.
It's a good thing they didn't pick this guy either, man. He can't hardly do this.
Trump thinks that Americans who have made the ultimate sacrifice are suckers and losers.
Never said that. Fake hoax.
If we fall for that again and make him the commander-in-chief, the only suckers would be us.
Democrats are suckers for your
Kamala Harris
fake candidates
knows that
and your fake
standing
democracy.
with their allies means standing up for Americans. She'll keep modernizing our military to support our troops and to support our veterans like our next Vice President, Tim Walz.
And Ukraine and endless wars and both sides of Israel and Gaza. Yay. Endless war. They're the war party now.
At Trump, literally. But folks, it is not funny. When he was president, that meant the world was laughing at us. The threats we face are too serious. The sacrifices our service members make are too sacred. The alliances we've spent decades building are too critical. That's what's at stake now. And the choice isn't even close. But in Arizona and nationwide, this election will be. We'll win in the same way we launch rockets into space and land fighter jets on an aircraft carrier as one team on one mission. State by state, voter by voter, coming together. No country is better than ours at solving big problems. So, on November 5th, let's prove that America is still the leader the world needs today by electing the leader we need right now, Kamala Harris. Thank you, everybody.
All right, bye, Mark. See you later.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is our senator. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, that's our senator. Sorry about that. Hey, you know, somebody dropped off a bunch of flags over there today. They're acting like Republicans.
Leon Panetta.
Speaking of the CIA, speaking of the CIA, it's Leon Panetta. Wow.
My fellow Americans,
What?
I'm proud to have served in the Army,
Sorry, we missed Trump.
Congress,
Sorry.
the White House, Chief of Staff, CIA Director,
Yeah, we know.
Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to rig everything. Don't worry. It's all rigged.
I've looked
Relax.
into the eyes of our warriors and deployed them into battle. I gave the order directing our Special Operations Forces to fly 2 helicopters
To blow up Nord Stream?
150 miles into Abbottabad at night.
To take out the pipeline with the
And by
Ukrainians?
the time the sun rose, Osama bin Laden was dead.
Oh. That guy you guys made? That guy you guys created? Oh. Good. Glad you got him.
Because nobody attacks our country and gets away with it. Nobody.
Yeah, unless we do it ourselves, then it's fine.
That's what our warriors do. That's what our warriors do. Our warriors need a tough, cool-headed commander-in-chief to defend our democracy from tyrants and terrorists. We need Kamala Harris
What democracy,
behind
dude?
the resolute desk.
What are you talking about? Nobody has voted for Kamala. Not one person.
She
Not one
knows.
citizen in a primary election.
She knows a tyrant when she sees one. And our allies know a leader when they see one. On the Senate Intelligence Committee and as Vice President, She worked with more than 150 world leaders.
I thought she was going to
She's
say
looked our
51 intelligence
allies
officials.
in the eye and said, America has your back. Trump would abandon our allies and isolate America. We tried that in the 1930s. It was foolish and dangerous then, and it's foolish and dangerous now. Listen to President Reagan. President Reagan, isolationism never was and never will be an acceptable response to tyrannical governments. Never. Trump tells tyrants like Putin they can do whatever the hell they want. Kamala Harris tells tyrants,
What?
the hell you can, not on my watch. She's worked with President Zelensky.
Oh, yeah?
To fight
What?
back
To blow up the
against Russia.
pipelines?
She knows that protecting their democracy protects our democracy as well.
Oh, really? How? How? Because Russia's going to march across Europe?
Donald Trump does not understand the world. And he does not understand the service and sacrifice.
He figured it out pretty
of
well
our
for 4
military.
years there, buddy.
Our fallen veterans are not suckers. They are not losers. They are our heroes.
Never said that. Liars. You guys are liars. Liars. Liars, liars, liars.
Kamala Harris will honor our veterans. And in Tim Walz, we will have a vice president who has served in uniform honorably for 24 years. Kamala Harris understands this moment. It is a moment of danger and a moment of opportunity. She'll keep America's military the strongest in the world, the strongest ever known. And she understands what our military is for. The role of our military is to defend us from foreign enemies. It is not to threaten Americans, and it sure as hell isn't to put immigrants in camps.
They just make up their own little delusions. Is Trump
Every president
waging domestic war?
since World War II, Republican and Democrat, has shared the belief that America must protect democracy in the world. Every president has honored our veterans and their sacrifices. Every president, but one.
Oh, get out of
one.
here.
So we face a critical choice: to vote for someone who stands with our military and stands up for democracy.
This guy is the epitome of the
someone
deep state, the
who will
embodiment, the
disrespect our
manifestation of it
heroes
all into one
and
individual.
undermine our democracy. My fellow Americans, there is only one choice.
Donald Trump.
One choice.
Donald Trump. President Donald Trump, the man who has a track
And let me
record of
tell you
delivering
something.
peace and prosperity.
When she takes her oath of office, as she will.
Not gonna
this
happen, buddy
January,
boy. No, it isn't. Not on our watch.
Our allies will cheer. Our enemies will fear.
What?
And we will have a commander-in-chief.
Three
that
more
we
years of a
can
stalemate,
trust.
like they've
God
already had
bless our
in
veterans,
Ukraine?
And God bless our country.
Oh, gosh. She's already been in the White House there, bucko. She's been in there. Nothing's changing. All right, who do we have there?
Please
A bunch of
welcome
representatives.
Arizona Representative Ruben Gallego.
Oh, gosh. Ruben Gallego. Oh, man. I was trying to get away from this.
I'm a dad, husband,
He's running against Carrie Lake right now.
And the proudest Arizonan you'll ever meet. But I am even prouder to be a Marine. Rah! My mom raised us alone on a secretary's salary. I slept on the floor. I worked every job I could, meat packing, construction, making pizzas. I made it to Harvard with no money or connections.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not allowed to do that. What kind of a piece of crap are you? J.D. Vance went to Yale. They hate him for that.
Because they were at Harvard.
You're not allowed to do that.
Because I finally had a mattress.
So you're the worst. You're disqualified.
Then I enlisted.
We don't want to hear about your sob
Fought
story.
alongside my brothers with Lima 325 in Iraq. They called us Lucky Lima, but our luck ran out.
What happened?
We saw some of the heaviest combat of the war.
So you went to a combat zone.
And when we got home,
wow,
the government failed to help us readjust. We have a duty to care for our patriots who serve our nation.
Don't disagree with that. Yeah. And I detest the government that fails people.
For the Vietnam veteran and Buckeye who relies on the VA for his medication. For the Afghan
That's your party, though, brother. Huge government, ineffective bureaucracy, wasteful spending, no solutions.
Who relies on the benefits she earned. For my Navajo brothers and sisters who serve the Marines with me, I remember you too. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are fighting for them. Kamala Harris has delivered more benefits to more veterans than ever before, and has achieved the lowest veterans unemployment rate in history. Vice President Harris has stood up for us and our families always. Tim Walz served for 24 years. His passion for veterans earned him respect on both sides of the aisle, and he stands with us too. In fact, let me introduce you to some of the many Democrats who understand what service means, because we put country over politics.
Yeah, right, dude. You guys throw everybody off ballots. You guys cheat constantly.
Wear the uniform.
All right, they cheat constantly, and so we're going to do a little show. So we're just going to jump into another story as this goes on. And total respect to the men and women who serve, but what the Democrats are doing here is, I think, trying to cover up for their candidate who has some dishonesty in his background. And so we'll let Ruben Gallego finish it out. We're going to jump over to this story. Now, Donald Trump was in Arizona today, and here is, we'll check back when they have another candidate or somebody else interesting, but we'll come back and we'll see what's going on with the DNC. But right now, Donald Trump is in Arizona. You see, they're talking a lot about him, and this is what it looked like. Dan Scavino shared this one for us and said this was President Trump's motorcade as he was making his way through Arizona. Check this out. This was massive. And so let me just show you this without the audio. You can see this was the lineup, and I don't know exactly where this was, but Dan Scavino was the person who posted this. And you can see the crowd is just literally on the side of the road. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So this is what Arizona actually feels like. And I know we keep seeing polls that it's bluer than we'd like it to be, but this is kind of the vibe, I'd say, around Arizona. And it's, you know, kind of shocking to think that this state is becoming a blue state, if that is the truth. So this was the motorcade on the way to the U.S. border and to Mexico earlier in the afternoon. And so we'll continue to talk about what's happening there. Here was another scene. So this was another angle on this from the Trump motorcade. So just a huge throng of people. I'm trying to figure out where that was. Maybe it was on the I-40. No, on the I-10. Yeah, so interesting, right? Nice crowds, a lot of people there in support of Trump. He's making his way out, and he was actually speaking at the border, and there were some interesting exchanges happening here. So let me share this with you. This is what Trump sounded like when he was there at the southern border today, just a few short hours ago.
Because we went down about as far as
Hang on. Let me kill that other music. Thought I had already done that. Figure out where that's coming from. Hang on. I don't know where it's coming from. There it is. Found it. Got it. So now we're back in business. This was Trump there today.
Practical for them to go down. You know, they build tunnels under walls. We went down pretty deep. We'd go down a lot deeper than the wall, made it very tough for them. And we stopped that, and we stopped people from coming over. But when they refused to, I built hundreds of miles of this. By the way, as far as the eye can see, you look at the other direction, as far as the eye could see, and then I'd hear people say, oh, he didn't build the wall. We built the wall. We built much more than I was anticipated to build. And we were going to build an extra 200 miles. Much of this is that, which is much more than I said I was going to do, because as we built it, they would go around the edges. So we were going further and further out, and it worked. We had the best numbers ever, and we had them largely because of the wall, and also because the Mexican military helped us, which they never helped at any time. They never helped. And we were very proud of it. So we went from the best numbers in recorded history to the worst numbers in recorded history or any other history. And we have a Marxist that's running, and I don't think you can let her. Well, this country is not ready for a Marxist president. She will never build the wall. She doesn't want to build the wall. She's only saying if she changes her mind, it's only because she wants to get elected, because who wouldn't want to have a strong border? You need strong borders and strong elections, and we have neither. But we're going to have very strong borders, and we're going to have very strong elections soon. The people are fed up. It's common sense. The people are just fed up. And you saw it. Everybody coming from the airport saw the thousands and thousands of people lined up. It looked like Lindbergh coming in from what he did at the time. Broadway, it was amazing when you see all those people It's a long drive from the airport, and so many thousands and thousands of people. The people in my car say, I've never seen anything like that. We're in the middle of an area that's not well populated, and to have thousands of people like that is pretty unbelievable. I hope you got to see it. And I hope the press rates the story fairly, because it's a story of disgrace. We had a border czar who was the border czar. She loved the title, but she didn't want to do the work because she's lazy, and probably more importantly than being lazy, she wants to have an open border. And you say, who would want an open border where criminals can pour into our country?
Look at all that fence just
all you have to
there.
do is walk up there, if you have the courage to do it, and go to that open section. Stand there for a little while. You'll be running back here very quickly. You really have to write this fairly, this story, because you people don't want to talk about the border. You don't want to talk about the bad things that are going on in our country. We're going to end up not having a country. You're not going to have any media. We don't have media. They don't have media. They do their own media. They don't need media. But you really should cover this story fairly. Before I begin, I have some, I think, very good words on the border, what to do and how to solve the problem. We had it solved. All they had to do is leave it. Leave it. Just leave it. But before I begin, I want to address the fake job numbers on top of everything.
All right, so they had a bunch of people there today. You can see they're out there at the border. It is hot in Arizona right now. I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh. They're standing outside in the 100+ degree heat. It's rough out there, but they're doing it because this is important. This is a critical issue that's impacting many, many people like this woman, right? Who many of these people, like this guy, right? What do you think happened to this woman? May she rest in peace. Dead. Didn't need to be dead. So, you know, our thoughts and prayers go out to her. Here's a little bit of this story.
Please, please. He needs to be in office, and we need better control. We need to stop this. We need to stop losing our littles. We need to stop losing children, mothers, sisters. Because now I get to grieve every single day. Every milestone that hits gets harder because she's not there for it. She was gonna be a 7th grader. She had her whole life ahead of her. Whole life ahead of her, and it was viciously taken away by 2 evil, heinous monsters. So thank you again for taking the time to listen to my words. And please help him make a change. Thank you.
All right, so peace to her and her family, and prayers for her loved one and their recovery through their grief. Terrible thing that's happening. And Trump is down there to learn more about it and to address it. Now, elsewhere in Arizona, we saw this is also happening. And so we'll just do a DNC check just so we know what they're up to. Whitmer is now out of the building. So she was that fake kidnapping hoax governor from Michigan who explained that, or who faked like she was, going to be kidnapped or something. Obviously, the FBI set most of that up. There were several acquittals there. Who's this? Eva Longoria? Oh, it's Eva Longoria. Oh, that means we're getting close to Kamala time.
Hello, Chicago!
All right.
Yes! I am so excited to be here tonight. What an honor to be part of this historic moment, and y'all are part of it.
Eva Longoria, what was she, an actress?
Look, I have known Kamala Harris for more than a decade, and she comes from a family a lot like mine, and I'm sure a lot like yours. We were both raised.
I was thinking musician or something else. I don't really know. Okay, but Eva Longoria, an actress. So they're bringing out all the celebrities. A lot of this feels like it's reminiscent of the Obama efforts when they tried to turn him into a celebrity. But the problem was, as we've mentioned here many times, Obama is not Kamala, and there's a different skill set at play between the two of them. So that, I think, means that Kamala is getting close. But while we're waiting for Kamala to come out here, let's take a look at what's happening in Arizona, because some good news out of the Supreme Court dropped today. Here is what it looks like. The Republican Party in Arizona is happy about this. They said that SCOTUS rules in favor of Arizona voter registration requirements. Monumental victory for election integrity. So they're very happy about it. They say today's decision mandates that Arizona must reject state voter registration forms without proof of citizenship. Okay, so it's very nuanced, but pre this decision, if you went to fill out a registration form and you couldn't, yes, you get the form, you fill it out, it's an Arizona form, state voter registration form, you submit it, you say that I would like to vote and I'm a citizen. They say, okay, great, okay. They don't, they can't verify it or anything. I swear under penalty of perjury, they're not checking it. It goes in. Or if they can't verify it, right, then you only get a federal ballot by default. What Arizona did is change the law so that that does not happen. You just do not get a ballot if you use a state voter form. If you want a form, if you want to vote, you have to fill out a form, and the registration form is going to have requirements on it. They're saying you have to have a citizenship requirement, a component, to even fill out the form before you get a ballot. So it's very nuanced. Let's go through it. You can see the opinion doesn't tell us a lot. It just says, it's very, very short, one pager that just dropped. It says the application for a stay presented to Kagan, been denied in part. So some judges wanted it to come through, others did not. And we have a nice summary that was assembled for us courtesy of Scotus blog. And so let's read through what's happening here, because this is important. And this is in the context of what they did previously with New York. We read through that earlier this week, where they are now allowing universal mail-in balloting because 6 judges decided that it was now allowed in New York, even though it hadn't been for 150 years. And the legislature themselves had tried to pass a state amendment, failed to do that. So they just re-identified and then got it done. Anyways, there is a big order that came out. Okay, very close. It was 5-4. Oh my gosh. They brought out crying Adam Kinzinger. Oh gosh. They are just scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I'm Adam Kinzinger, and I am proud to be in the trenches with you as part of this sometimes awkward alliance that we have to defend truth, defend democracy, and decency.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you failed on all of those things. You were on the January 6th committee, which was illegally constituted, not even democratic at all. The House of Representatives, which is supposed to be a representative body, passed HR 503, which said there should be certain people on the committee. You guys changed it. You were the fake token Republican, Kinzinger, that you were Nancy Pelosi's little bee. Man, it was so pathetic. You were like holding her purse. Oh gosh, I don't know how you can live with yourself. Well, I mean, it seems like a kind of a sad existence. Obviously, you're at the DNC right now, just scraping for relevance. Nobody even likes you anymore. You got thrown out of your district when they redistrict, and you're just not, I think you're angling for a position somewhere, but nobody really likes you, except that gal. Or I don't want to misgender anybody here. It's the DNC. I got to be careful. It's nice they airdropped all the flags there. They weren't there the last 3 days.
American values at home and abroad as we conservatives have ever been.
Is he going to cry again?
I was relieved to discover that because I've learned something about my party too. Something I couldn't ignore. The Republican Party is no longer conservative. It has switched its allegiance from the principles that gave it purpose to a man whose only purpose is himself.
Yeah, that's why he's given up all
Trump
of his life of luxury
is
for this health situation, this health
pretending to be strong.
I don't know what he's on. It might be like, some sort of TRT or some sort of testosterone or something. His face definitely looks like it's puffy. It's kind of like, puffing out. A lot of guys are on that these days. And his traps are swelling up a little bit. He's filling out the suit of his thing a little bit more. It looks like he's pumping himself up with something. So whatever, that's his business. But he does look a little more swollen than usual. I don't know. Maybe he was crying back there on Nancy Pelosi's shoulder. This is my big debut. This is where I'll be able to have some meaning and some relevance again for the first time in a long time. And he's really excited about it. So, all right, we'll keep an eye on it. Here's what this decision was about. It says a divided Supreme Court on Thursday granted a request from the Republicans in Arizona, good news, to reinstate a state law that requires residents, so if you're here, to provide proof of citizenship to register to vote using a form if it comes from the state, right? Which is kind of the ubiquitous form. It's the form that's everywhere. It's a state form. If you want to use the state form, need citizenship. Now, the court turned down a request, however, to reinstate the portion of the same law that would bar voters who register using a standard federal form from voting for president or by mail unless they provide proof of citizenship. Okay, so there's two forms. State form, okay, you got to have citizenship. Federal form, you can still register to vote, and you don't have to provide proof of citizenship. You just have to check a box that says, I'm a citizen. I swear under penalty of perjury. That's it. Now, it's punishable by a crime. It's punishable by a felony and all this stuff. Are they prosecuting any illegals for this? Has anybody ever been prosecuted? Have they even checked? Have they investigated it at all? Is anybody looking into it at a federal level from the DOJ or something like that? No, of course not. That's the point. So all these people who are standing outside on the street corners trying to get people to register to vote, we'll see if they switch over to federal forms here in Arizona. And I'm sure that they will, in fact, and I'm going to keep my eye out on that. I'm going to look the next time somebody asks me about it. But the vote was 5-4, very brief unsigned order. Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, Neil Gorsuch, they all indicated they have granted the RNC's application to fully reinstate the law. They would have. 4 other justices said no. The Arizona law at the center of the dispute was enacted in 2022. It directs county officials to attempt to verify the citizenship of anyone who attempts to register using a federal form. Try to find it. Now, if the officials cannot do so, right, because a federal form, and there's all these communication problems that are intentionally problematic so that you can't check. She says, for example, because they don't have access to the databases from the feds that give us the citizenship info or something, the applicant the birth certificate, whatever. The applicant must submit proof of citizenship, like a birth certificate or a passport, to prove them that they're citizens in order to vote for president or to vote by mail. In a separate provision, the law also requires anyone who registers using the Arizona state form to do the same. So soon after the law was passed, a bunch of lefty groups who want illegals to vote, they said, they were voting rights groups and Democrats, obviously. They went to court to challenge the law. How dare you try to stop illegals from voting? They argued that the NVRA, the national federal law, supersedes Arizona And so to hell with you guys. Now, the private plaintiffs who sued also said that a Katie Hobbs consent decree, so then our Secretary of State when she was in charge, a corrupt Democrat who, in my opinion, rigged elections to become the governor, is now with somebody who entered into a private decree with somebody else, another group, to bind our state into never having citizenship again in some private rigged deal. So then last year, a federal district court agreed with the United States and said, no, feds override the states. Then the RNC appealed it, went to this is the wildest thing, went to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. Then they granted the request. The Arizona law came back into place. But then they turned around. Okay, July 18th, okay, law comes back. Then on August 1st, they turned back around. A different 3-judge panel reinstated the lower level court again and said, actually, the law's on hold again. So so then they went to the Supreme Court on August 8th. We read through the whole opinion. 24 other states joined them. And then the court came out, obviously, and issued its decision today. So Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays opposed this. She said the state has an interest in smoothly administering its laws, especially for elections, saying that she put the district court's injunction on hold. It would destabilize a bunch of stuff, whatever. All right, so it's good news out of Arizona. We do have some semblance of voter registration that's required if there are state forms being used. But as we see here, even from Scotus blog, which is not a righty website, is saying all you got to do is just go get a federal form and just swear under penalty of perjury that you're a citizen. No one's going to check. No one's going to clear out the rosters. And that's going to be the end of the story. People will get ballots, and surely they'll vote. Okay, who is this person?
In 1958, a
Maya
19-year-old
Harris.
from India.
Oh, it's Kamala's sister. All right, so that's Kamala's sister. So we'll see what that's all about. Now, there was also a weird thing that was happening today. This guy was apparently out to kill Trump. Just showed up on like multiple Secret Service lists again or whatever. Actually, they don't care. I'm fine. You could say that all day long. Nobody's even going to check. Like, whatever. That sounds good. But anyways, so Cochise County searching for a man with outstanding warrants. Shout out to our friend Carly Bonney, who was clipping this one, says that this guy was arrested today. There was a manhunt that was basically issued today, and then they got the guy. So here is what this sounds like. And I'm going to have to
find herself.
Gonna have to
And when it came to
mute
Kamala and me,
this one,
Mommy had.
and then we'll play this
And
one.
the location was supposed to be here, and the day was supposed to be today. We don't have any other additional information. I do believe we have the picture of the suspect, who we can put up right now. Again, I think you mentioned, John, his name is Ronald Lee Servid. He's a white male, 6 feet. Glasses, 66 years old. His last known address was in Benson, Arizona. That's about an hour and 20-minute drive from the city of Sierra Vista, about from where we're standing right now. So the sheriff of Cochise County is actually going to be greeting the president today and is expected to be here. So we're hoping that we can get some sort of update from him. But yes, chilling information, a chilling update to get as the president is headed here, as we do consider what happened early this summer, and also that the president just returned to those outdoor rallies where, in fact, he now has to have bulletproof glass in front of his body. Back to you.
Alicia, as you noted, we have his picture up on the screen now. This was from a, not a mugshot, we're told. This is actually from a search warrant for suspicious activity for a Benson resident who's wanted for several outstanding warrants. As described, 6 feet tall, white male, glasses, 66 years old.
Well, they arrested the guy, right? So
Last known address, Benson. The subject has outstanding warrants from the state of...
Yeah, so they actually arrested the dude. So I'm not sure if this report may have come before he was actually arrested, but he ultimately was arrested. So that is good news. Now, we also have some interesting updates with the RFK people, because the RFK people have a big announcement tomorrow. We're excited about that. So we know RFK Jr. is going to be in Arizona. He's going to be addressing the nation about his future. And Trump is going to be in Arizona, in Glendale. Your boy is going to be out there. We're going to do our best to live stream from there to see how the event is. We'll see if we can figure out how to do that. But it's going to be fun. and we're excited to see if maybe the special guest at the Trump event is RFK Jr. So Nicole Shanahan, who is the vice presidential nominee for the RFK team, says in the rumors, as the rumors have been flying, says, my old Democrat buddies, old because they're dead to me, my words, says they have been flooding me with frantic calls and texts and emails. Well, unlike Roe, I'm not sure who that is, I wouldn't dream of airing those private conversations publicly. But the message is clear. They're terrified of the idea of our movement joining forces with Donald Trump. Says, when I point out what the Democratic Party and their super PACs have done to sabotage our campaign, their response is always, but Trump is worse for democracy. Here's an idea. Stop suing us. Let us debate. Quit rigging the media and the polls. It's a simple formula, people. Get with it, for crying out loud. Ro Khanna might be that individual. Unlike Roe, I wouldn't dream of airing those things. Maybe that's what he did. Now, here Nicole also was reposting this one on X. Was reposting this from Dr. Jill Stein, who's also running. And Dr. Jill Stein shared this one. Michelle Obama said this earlier at the convention, clearly a ridiculous statement coming from the Democrats. Her own husband got elected to the Senate after they basically sued and got his opponents removed from the ballot. That's how he got his start. And then from there, they've waged open war against Trump ever since he came down the escalator with fake Russian hoax nonsense, with a Steele dossier all made up, fake criminal charges. The list goes on and on. So here's what she said.
If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top.
But there kind of was, though. Kind of. What did Obama ever do or build? All right, no one knows. Other than being a community organizer who got swept into power after he threw his opponents off in the corrupt city of Chicago, which is where you're back at. So who is this guy? Let's see who he is. He's out here addressing all of us.
Hundreds of thousands were losing their homes to illegal foreclosure. I was Attorney General in North Carolina, while Kamala had just become California's. All the AGs were close to a settlement with the big banks, and it was a pretty good deal. Would have meant $4 billion for California families who'd been ripped off. I know that sounds like a lot.
Okay.
Kamala said, hang on a minute. I've met these families.
This guy sounds like he's reading to some kindergartners. I said, wait a minute. And that's not the Southern folksy thing coming out. He's just reading like fourth graders. Okay. It's like pathetic. All right. So Michelle Obama, she says, we don't cheat others to get ahead. We don't get to change the rules so we always win. No, you don't. Sure. Okay. You guys rig everything. You tried to throw Trump off the ballot. You've sued multiple times the RFK people. And now even Dr. Jill Stein is saying there's a pattern here. Says, stop the gaslighting, Michelle. Right now, the Democrats are trying to sue us off multiple state ballots, hiring spies and infiltrators to sabotage us, and even withholding public funds that we qualified for months ago. Democrats absolutely cheat, and they change the rules to maintain their grip on power. All right, so there's a pattern, obviously. Okay, the Republicans have been saying this for a long time. We've been screaming it here from the rooftops from the beginning. And now we've got RFK Jr. recognizing it. Cheaters, liars, bullies, connivers, man. And now Dr. Jill Stein, maybe she'll drop out too and endorse Trump too. We'll be looking forward to that. We'll get all of us can come together and just recognize, man, it's like, got to get the different rings, power rings together from all the different, it's fine to take out this Democrat, megalith. It's insane that they have so much power that they can just sue people into oblivion, that they're suing RFK into oblivion, basically, is what it sounds like. That they don't have the resources to even wage a fight, to even just have a fair shake at it. And a bunch of people out there are really supportive of that party. It's kind of nuts. So here's another one from Nicole Shanahan as we're waiting for Kamala to come out here whenever she puts the drink down. Says, I'm a mom, a fierce mom. I've seen the corruption in this country eat away at the soul of my childhood, very soul of childhood. Nothing will take my eye off the course, the mission to course correct any of that. So here's Nicole.
And I'm a mother to a child with special needs who's impacted
Shout out.
by the chronic disease epidemic. More than half of American children are impacted by this epidemic. And I will dedicate likely the rest of my life to fighting on behalf of children and their right to be healthy and their right to thrive. I'm also a very vocal advocate for women's health. I'm the largest funder in scientific research into the foundational science around women's reproduction and fertility. And I don't intend to monetize any of our discoveries. I intend to empower women to be fully informed about their health and choices and options. And so I believe that taken in sum, also I'm able to contribute to the campaign directly. There's campaign finance laws that allow candidates themselves to self-finance in an unlimited amount. And when you take that together with the fact that I can't be bought, I'm not a corrupt politician. I'm a mom. I'm a fierce mom. And I've seen the corruption in this country eat away at the very soul of childhood. And there is nothing in me that could ever take my eye off of the mission to course correct that issue.
All right. So that sounds good. I think there's a big corruption problem. And now she's got a front row seat to exactly what's happening when you challenge the party. It's like a party in a communist story that you've read about in your history books. They take a leader, they elevate them to some position, they basically turn them into a godlike figure out of nowhere. Somebody who has no legitimacy, no record, right? They just bring in the next guy. Oh, you're the party leader. And they just put together stuff like this of Kamala, right? And they say, well, no, she's been a prosecutor and she's been a senator and all these things. And you go, okay, right. Yeah, show me the record of anything she's actually done other than just kind of move up the chain of command after getting there in very concerning ways, unorthodox ways, and then claim, it's a giant victory. Then be the leader of a party that doesn't even put her there through a democratic process. In fact, Joe Biden, about a week before they threw him out, said and confirmed multiple times that he was staying in the race until they threatened him and removed him. Right? It's the party apparatus. It's no different than Mao or Adolf or anyone. And they just put these figures, in this nice hagiography, and look, let's create these people out of nothing. And she goes from being one of the most inconsequential and worst vice presidents to one of the most inconsequential primary candidates the Democrats ever had. Nobody likes her. And now, apparently they got Beyonce or somebody coming out here, right? Everybody just falls in line like good little Democrats. So you can see the hagiography montage is still going on over there. We'll avoid it. But we got Trump's coming out tomorrow. And Trump tomorrow will have a special guest. So you can see in Arizona, he's going to be there in Glendale, not too far away from where your boy's at right now. So we're going to make our way over there, try to get there well before the 4 p.m. start time. President Trump's going to hold an event. Charlie Kirk and their team should be over there. It's a Turning Point event. Going to be in Glendale tomorrow. Starts at 4 o'clock p.m. And if you're going to be there, maybe we'll see you there. It'll be good. So, and we'll be there, meeting some people and hopefully saying what's up to everybody. Maybe they'll say hello to our live stream. Trump will be joined by a special guest as he delivers remarks about his America First policies and his vision to lower inflation, the cost of living, secure the border, and make our cities safe again. So, yeah, we'll see if we can get in. I don't know. We're just going to go poke around. I have really no idea what it's going to be like or whether we'll be able to stream anything, but we'll figure it out. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But that brings me to a good point. So we're not going to have our regular show tomorrow because we're going to be there at the event, and we're going to turn the camera on as we're walking around saying what's up. We'll see if we can figure it out, but I'm sure we'll be able to do it, hopefully with your help. All right, so we're waiting for Kamala to come in, and we'll see when that gets started. But let's see what you guys say about some of this. I saw some nice, hey, what's up? We got some nice comments and some nice membos have come in. Oh my goodness, we got some new membos. What's going on? And I think we have, hey, we got mods in the house, man. You guys are awesome. What's up? Donut clipping for us today. Thank you, Donut. I think I see John McGarvey's over there. I think I see Zach Nichols also in the house. Yeah, we got some new membos. What's going on? Milo Phone Bill says, hey, thanks for opening the chat up earlier. Yeah, my pleasure. That was some good stuff. Via's Never Silent saying the same thing. Some locals friends. Says, we're struggling here, man, but we're surviving. We're in it together. We're going to survive it together. We're going to make it through this event. Alejandro, what's up? Welcome as our newest supporter over on the YouTubes, our newest membo. We had a great members only stream. Tomorrow we will do a members only stream in the morning, regular time. But then we'll be at the event. All right, what's up? Thank you, Alejandro. Welcome aboard, Tyler Fujimoto. Welcome aboard. Grab that morning stream. Hey, Lenny. What's up, Lenny? Okay, is Kamala coming out now? Let's see. What's happening here? They still doing the little pep talk? Whoa, loud. All right, so I don't know if... oh, there she is. Okay, so it's Kamala time. All right. All right, let's hear from it. I guess we better do this thing. See what's... all right, guys. IQ points. We can do it. We can do it. We're going to... we can do it. Let's see what this manufactured individual has to say to all of us. We'll get through it. Okay, and if there's a cackle, we'll try to mute it. We'll see. All right. What happened to Beyonce? I think they're mispronouncing it. Isn't that illegal? It's Kamala, not Kamala. Don Lemon is going to be so mad at you. Ooh. All right. Good evening. Okay, how many times total do you think? 12? How many were there? So far, 6? 6 good evenings? 7? 8? 9? Come on, 2 more. Come on, 2 more. Come on. All right, what was that, like 10? I thought it was going to be 12. What was that, 10? Somebody have to count it. I missed the first couple. I can't remember. Was it 10? Hey! 11! Come on, one more. Come on, come on, one more. One more.
Thank you, everyone.
One more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Say it again. Say it again. Do it.
Thank you all. Okay, we gotta get to some business.
All right, shut up.
Some business. Okay. Thank you all. Okay.
Good evening. One more.
Thank you,
Come on, Kamala.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, thank you, please, thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
thank
my
you,
ears.
everyone.
Oh,
thank
gosh.
you. Okay, let's get to business. Let's get to business. All right.
Good evening. One more. One more.
So,
One more.
Let me start by thanking my most incredible husband, Doug, for being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella, and happy anniversary, Dougie. I love you so very much. To our President Joe Biden,
who we threw out a window. Good evening.
When I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show.
Oh, it's been terrible.
And your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both.
She read that so good. She read that so good. You guys stabbed him in the back, threw him out.
And to Coach Tim Walz.
Assistant coach, asterisk, assistant.
You are going to be an incredible vice president.
Not going to happen, Kamala. Not going to happen, Tim. Sorry, Timmy.
And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign, your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So my mother, our mother, Kamala Harris, had one of her own. And I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down smiling.
Shamala like Kamala? Shamala like Kamala?
So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished
breast cancer
school,
sucks.
She was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me.
We want to do an over-under on length of speech.
I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go.
Over-under suggestions,
to
I'm
Illinois,
open. 31 minutes for an over-under? 31?
And wherever our parents' jobs took us.
Biden was about 55 minutes, I think, right?
My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music, Aretha, Coltrane, and Miles. At the park, my mother would say, "Stay close." But my father would say, as he smiled, "Run, Kamala, run. Don't be afraid. Don't let anything stop you." From my earliest years, he taught me to be fearless. But
all right, over-under, we're going to set it at 32 minutes.
When I was in elementary school, they split up.
Over that or under that?
It was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live in the hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful, working-class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers, all who tended their lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she leaned on a trusted circle to help raise us. Mrs. Shelton, who ran the daycare below us and became a second mother. Uncle Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood.
Okay, 32 is what I said. I'm going to go with the over.
Family by love.
37 minutes, maybe. 32 is kind of tight. We'll see.
Family who taught us how to make gumbo.
Ooh, this is good. It's kind of split.
How to play chess. And sometimes even let us win. family who loved us, believed in us.
That's good. It's a good set.
And told
it's a good
us
set,
we
over
could
under.
be anything and do anything. They instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated.
All right. Is she saying anything
With
meaningful? I was
kindness,
interested in the gambling.
respect, and compassion. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent.
So this is like
And
her
as
first
the
introduction.
eldest
It's like an
child-
introductory speech.
As the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health, and she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it.
Like prosecute
Do
marijuana
something
violators
about it.
while she's getting high.
That was my mother.
So
And
long,
she taught
suckers.
us, and she always,
Woo!
she also
Enjoy
taught
your
us,
incarceration.
and she also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote. A direct quote. I grew up immersed in the ideals of the civil rights movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley, those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And when it came time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend, Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right, and she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice.
Unless you smoked marijuana and she was the
As
AG.
a prosecutor, when I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim, but in the name of the people. For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
Unless you're one of the wrongfully
And
accused.
I would often explain this
That she incarcerated.
to console survivors of crime, to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. We are all in this together. And every day,
Wow.
in the courtroom,
Moving.
I stood proudly before a judge and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people.
Oh, gag me. Another prosecutor.
And to be clear,
You know how many people she put in prison for
and
drug
to be
crimes
clear,
and
my
marijuana
entire
offenses?
career, I've only had one client, the people.
They were like defund the police like yesterday.
And so,
defund the police.
on
Now she's a
behalf
prosecutor.
Of the
Incredible.
people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender,
Not on behalf
or the
of me.
language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey.
Get to it.
On behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another. On behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth.
Will you spit it out?
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States.
After you stole it, you accept the stolen nomination. No one voted for you. You feel good about that?
And with this election, our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward.
You've been in office for 3.5 years, lady.
Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put the country above party and self.
To be in charge of the border, AI, internet,
America's
technology,
fundamental
what?
Principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power.
Your party has been prosecuting your political opponents. Your administration has had fake prosecutors raid your opponents' houses.
Around our highest aspirations, a president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense, and always fights for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work. As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them.
You
As Attorney
prosecuted
General of
truant
California, I
parents.
took on the big banks.
You prosecuted truant parents when their kids didn't go to school. Families who were already in difficult times, you prosecuted them
and helped
like a
pass
lunatic.
a homeowner bill of rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings.
Oh my gosh. You prosecuted parents for their truant kids, and you prosecuted marijuana offenders when you said you smoked marijuana because you're so hip.
Were not easy, and neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn, but we never gave up because the future is always worth fighting for.
The future.
And that's the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future.
Just like you fought to keep DNA evidence
Fellow
out.
Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened
You mean like
since
not having
he
a
lost
Ukraine
the
war
last
or a war
election.
in Gaza or
Donald
300,000
Trump
kids missing?
tried to throw
Remember
away
that?
your votes. When he failed,
You did.
he sent an armed mob to the United States
What a
Capitol,
joke.
where they assaulted law enforcement officers.
Hey, did you guys plant the pipe
When
bomb?
politicians
Kamala, did you plant
in
that
his
pipe bomb?
own
Why'd you
party
walk right by it?
begged him
Who planted the pipe
to
bomb,
call
Kamala?
off the mob
Who did it? You?
and send help. He did the opposite.
Did your cops
He
drop that pipe
fanned
bomb
the
right there when you walked right
flames.
by it? Why didn't your Secret Service
And
see it?
now, for an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans.
No, in a scam-rigged trial by Judge
And
Merchan from New
separately
York.
found liable
Rigged.
for committing sexual abuse.
Ugh. By
And
another rigged
consider-
case. Created a statute
Consider
to enable that.
what he intends to do
You guys brought Bill
if we
Clinton
give
out
him power
yesterday.
again.
Your
Consider
husband
his
slept
explicit
with the nanny
intent
and aborted
to
a baby.
set free violent
Talk about
extremists
abuse.
who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political
What?
opponents, and anyone he sees
You
as
guys
the
have
enemy.
memers in prison.
His explicit
You have a
intent
memer in jail.
to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens.
What?
Consider.
You have the
consider
FBI raiding homes right
the
now.
power
You raided
he will
Trump.
have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal
She is so
prosecution.
dishonest. She is so dishonest, like lying through her
Just
teeth.
imagine
Did you read it?
Donald Trump with no guardrails.
It applies to you too if you're the president,
And
psycho.
how he would use the immense powers
Wow.
of the presidency of the United States.
She's a liar, man. It's
Not
crazy.
to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself. And we know what a second Trump term would look like. It's
What?
all laid out in Project 2025.
That he had nothing to do
written
with.
by his closest advisors. And its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America,
You guys wrecked it. It would be better
we
than
are
it is
not
now.
going back. We are not going back.
Oh my
We are not
gosh.
going back.
Yeah, they want more wars, I guess. More
We are
wars in
not
Ukraine.
going back.
They want more wars in Gaza between Israel and the Middle East. They want more open borders. They want more illegal aliens in the country. They want more raids of political opponents.
When insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools.
The schools are crap. Look around. Look around. Compare them to the rest of the world. They're crap.
Programs like Head Start that provide preschool and childcare for our children. America, we are not going back.
Listen to these people.
We are
Turn it up, brother. A little
charting-
more energy.
And we are charting a new way forward. Forward to a future with a strong
With
and
unrealized
growing middle
capital
class,
gains
because we
taxes,
know
yeah.
a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success.
That's why
And
we're gonna tax
building
you.
That middle class will be a defining
Taxes
goal of
going
my
up across the board.
presidency.
Major taxation.
And I'll tell you, this is personal for me.
What? Did you get IVF?
The middle class is where I come from.
Did you serve in
My
combat?
mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little.
You guys had a lot of money.
And she
We saw
expected us
that.
to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed.
Is this a policy proposal? An opportunity economy.
You live in a rural area,
they like that.
Small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care.
Why didn't you do that? Where have you been
groceries.
for the last 3.5 years?
We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs
and illegal immigrants,
founders.
and $25,000 for illegal immigrant housing.
Housing shortage.
Yes, $25,000 for all illegals. You're welcome.
Social Security and Medicare.
Welcome to America, Kamala Harris.
Now compare that to Donald Trump.
What? Secure borders?
I think everyone
not having
here knows
300,000
he
people
doesn't
missing?
actually fight for the middle class. He doesn't actually fight for the middle class.
Everybody did better.
Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire
We didn't have
friends.
inflation every month
And
through the
he
roof.
will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt.
No, your
And
unrealized
all the
capital
while,
gains tax is
he
going to solve it
intends
once
to
the whole
enact
country
what
flees.
in effect is a national sales tax, call it a Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by almost $4,000 a year.
What is she talking about?
Well, instead of a Trump tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million
Nobody even believes it. They're all like, yeah, okay. Man, it's weird. It's like the people there want to get fleeced by their own people.
America cannot
Tax
truly
cuts
be
with
prosperous
Democrats. Oh my gosh.
unless Americans are fully
Anyone have a
able
stopwatch?
to
Where are we
make
at?
their own decisions about their own lives.
Man, this was a good
especially
over-under.
on
It's
matters of heart
53%
and
at the
home.
over, and it's 47% at the under. It's like 50-50,
But tonight,
53-47 right now
In
for the over.
America, too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom.
That's his job to pick them.
And now
that's what you do.
He brags about it.
And he didn't do
In
that. He
his
sent it back to the
words,
states. The
quote,
states made their
"I
own
did it,
decisions
and
through the
I'm proud
legislative
to have
branches.
done it," end
They
quote.
pass laws at the state level.
Well, I'll
Kamala,
tell you,
that's how our democracy, our
over
republic
the past
works.
2 years, I've traveled across our country, and women have told me their stories. Husbands and fathers have shared theirs.
Like Tim Walz's fake
Stories
story
of
or
women
other ones? Real ones or
miscarrying
fake
in
ones
a
like his?
parking lot, developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because doctors are afraid they may go to jail for caring for their patients. Couples just trying to grow their family, cut off in the middle of IVF treatments. Children who have survived sexual assault, potentially being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. This is what's happening in our country because of Donald Trump. And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda,
What?
he and his allies would limit access to birth control, ban medication abortion, and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress.
He has said
And get this.
unequivocally that's not going to happen.
Get this.
You're a
He
liar,
plans to
Kamala. He
create
just
a
said
national
again that's not going to happen.
Anti-abortion
Liar.
coordinator.
You're a liar.
And force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions.
The anti-abortion people on the right are
Simply
flipped at
put,
Trump because he's
they
not
are
going as
out
far
of
as they
their
want.
minds.
They're lying. It's crazy how they're lying. There's a bunch of people on the right, Mike Pence included, who are flipped at Trump because he's not banning it hard enough.
One must
She's making it
ask,
up.
why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women. We trust women.
Abortion, baby. Abortion all day, all night long. Democratic Party.
To restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
That's fine. Do it. No one cares about that. Well, some people do. But if you pass it as a bill, as legislation, then you're free to do it. Go wild. Abort everything you want. But you got to do it the right way. I'm not endorsing that, but that's the right mechanical way to do it.
The freedom to live safe from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride.
And with pride, which means you have to love also. You have to be a part of that relationship too. If you don't enjoy with pride,
clean water and live free
then you're not
from the pollution that
anti-racist.
fuels the climate crisis. And the freedom that unlocks all the others, the freedom to vote.
Which you water down with illegal votes.
This election,
you throw people off the ballots.
We finally have the opportunity
to
pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act.
So we can codify Democratic power for the rest of our lives for the next 50 years. Hey, Kamala, no one even voted for you, lady.
And let me be clear.
What?
After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and
what a
security,
line that is.
especially at our border.
Hey, shout out to the cops out there, your law enforcement brother,
Joe and
sister
I
out here.
brought together Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades.
Yeah.
The Border Patrol endorsed it.
Yeah, well, how come you
But
guys...
Donald Trump believes a border deal would hurt his campaign.
No. You believe that, which is why you reversed the policies that were working.
To kill the deal.
No. You guys killed the deal.
Well, I
border was
refuse
fine.
to play
you killed
politics
it as soon as you
with
walked
our
in on
security.
day one, 3.5 years ago,
And
Kamala.
here is my pledge to you.
What?
As president,
You're gonna
I
fail
will
again?
bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law.
It's a terrible bill. All you have to do is go back to the policies that Trump already had in place.
I know we can live up
That lady's not that
to
enthusiastic.
our proud heritage as a nation of immigrants and reform our broken immigration system.
Oh, you're the worst. You're the czar.
We
You caused all of it. You're responsible for this right now.
Create an earned pathway to citizenship and secure our border.
Legalize citizen. 20 million illegals as new Democrat
And
voters.
America, we must also be steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad. As Vice President, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders,
like the CIA,
strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas. As Commander-in-Chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
And we're going to have the most genders, too, in our military. And the most pronouns.
Our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor
Unless we're evacuating a country.
disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Unless we're fleeing a country and abandoning $80 billion of equipment and killing 13 Americans, dropping dead, and then forgetting about them when Joe Biden talks about it during a debate. Unless we're talking about those problems, which she wants you to forget about.
Into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership. Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies. Said Russia could, quote, do whatever the hell they want.
That's like 3 times tonight.
5 days before Russia attacked Ukraine, I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade.
You should have told him about his own pipeline.
I helped mobilize a global
explosion
response,
plans.
over 50 countries, to defend against Putin's aggression. And as President President, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies.
The War and Abortion Party rings on. Yes, more war, more war. Democrats have become a war. Hey, Ben Stiller's there. Hey, maybe Tropic Thunder. Remember when they played Walls and Kamala in that movie?
President Biden and I are working around the clock.
For what?
Because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
Been working on it for a while. Man, okay, so are we at 31 minutes? Did we just cross?
Let me be clear.
32 minutes?
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself, because the people of Israel must never again face the horror that a terrorist organization called Hamas caused on October 7.
What do those people outside have to say about that?
Including unspeakable
A lot of hands are down on that one.
And the massacre of young people at a music festival. At the same time, what has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating.
She's having to balance this one.
So many innocent lives lost.
You're like, put some Israel in here. Here, add some more Israel. Oh, here, add some Gaza.
People fleeing
put some
for
Gaza in there. Oh, put some more Israel in
and
there.
Over
we support Israel.
Again,
no, have some more Gaza.
The scale of suffering is heartbreaking. President Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
You're like, oh, this tastes disgusting. Oh, oh, gross. Kamala made this little mixture sandwich. Gross.
I will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump.
Good Democrats, just get on the war train, baby.
Because, you know, they know.
War with Iran coming soon.
He is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
10/7 happened on your watch. Afghan happened on your watch. Ukraine invasion happened on your watch.
I will never waver
They
in
think you're a
defense
joke.
of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand, and I know where the United States belongs.
On the side of Ukraine and war.
So, fellow Americans.
All right, hopefully she's wrapping up.
Fellow Americans, I love our country with all my heart.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere I go, in everyone I meet, I see a nation that is ready to move forward, ready for the next step in the incredible journey that is America. I see an America where we hold fast to the fearless belief that built our nation and inspired the world, that here in this country, anything is possible, that nothing is out of reach. An America where we care for one another, look out for one another, and recognize that we have so much more in common than what separates us. That none of us has to fail for all of us to succeed. And that in unity there is strength. You know, our opponents in this race are out there every day denigrating America, talking about how terrible
Denigrating your
everything
performance, not the country.
Well,
We're pretty upset about how
my
you've
mother
handled
had
our
another
beautiful
lesson
country.
she used to teach. Never let anyone tell you who you are. You show them who you are.
Wow.
America,
That's inspirational.
let us show each other and the world who we are.
Sit down for an interview.
And what we stand for.
Yeah, hold a press briefing.
Freedom, opportunity,
Release a policy.
compassion, dignity,
Platitudes.
fairness,
Platitudes.
and endless possibilities.
Whoa. Endless bloviations. Nothing meaningful at all. The signs have stopped bouncing so much. You see, they're all kind of tired of this crap.
Are the heirs to the greatest democracy in the history of the world.
It's a republic, but thanks though.
And on behalf of our children and our grandchildren and all those who sacrificed so dearly for our freedom and liberty, we must be worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith,
and
to fight for this country we love,
to be unburdened,
to fight
right?
for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility
to be unburdened
that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American. So let's get out there, let's fight
Wrap
for
it up.
let's get out there, let's vote for it, and together let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever.
She's trying to be Obama right there.
Thank you. God bless you.
Good evening.
And God bless the United
Good
States
evening.
of America. Thank you all.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Wow, that was terrible. Whoo, that was pretty brutal. So that's Kamala Harris. Now, Democrats, I think, kind of liked it. I don't know. It feels like they lost some energy in the crowd. They were really, jerking those signs up and down a lot. And then by the end of the event, some of the jerking stopped. So I don't know what that tells you or not. They're jerking a little bit again, a little bit back again. Now she's doing nothing. Such a faker. Okay, so we had absolutely no substance, as we would expect. Bunch of platitudes like the Democrats love. Talks about, hope, basically, and endless policies and all of mostly meaningless items that are very important to them. Abortion was critical. What I thought was interesting was the foreign policy on this, right? This was a big signal, I think, to the foreign policy people that she is geared for war, baby. She was talking about Iran. She was talking about Israel. She had a very strong Israel statement in there. And she kind of watered that down. She's like, oh, this is a little too much Israel in here. We'll put too much Israel in there. And then put a little bit more, let's balance that out with some Gaza. But you don't mix those, right? That's like, like pineapple and pizza or something. It's like, that's the truth. So you don't mix them. And she put it into a thing. It was disgusting. They tried to eat it. And we'll see how both sides feel about that. We'll see how those people in Michigan and Minnesota, how they feel about it. But all right, so now they got everybody out there on the stand. Tim Walz, let's see if he does a little kick here. And he's going to kick, maybe not, I don't know. All right, so now that was that. Now, we also have the good president, our president, someone who's actually accomplished some things in his life, responded to this. And so here was Trump's play-by-play. And they were little sporadic updates, but they were pretty small updates. And so here's what you can see the president said. He said, all right, I'm getting ready to be fair but critical of Comrade Kamala Harris. My play-by-play will be on Truth Social starting soon. Trump said, we've assembled a small group of people, great patriots all, and we're currently watching their puff piece. He says, oh, here comes Kamala into the arena. Says, I'll be doing a call into Brett Baer and the group after her speech. They'd like to know what I thought of it. I'll be very honest in my assessment. We'll see if we can grab that when we're done here. He said, there are too many thank yous too rapidly said. What's going on with her? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. He says, where's Hunter? Walz was an assistant coach. Dang it, not a coach. We made that point too. Here's one from Donald Trump. He says, she's talking about how great San Francisco was before she destroyed it, right? Probably not a good idea. Those were the good old days. He says a lot of talk about childhood. That's nice, but we've got to get to the border, to the inflation, and to crime. But this was the first opportunity from people on the left to hear from her, because they didn't hear from her really during that first primary season. And nobody heard from her during this primary season because she hasn't run for anything. So this was like her reintroduction, right? And they're doing this rapidly so that people don't actually get to know her before they have to vote. So she also was talking about increased gas prices, but Trump says, you know, Kamala's biography won't lower prices at the grocery store or at the pump. Duh. Trump says she talked a lot about the rule of law, but as the borders are, she allowed 20 million people into our country, many of them criminals, who are maiming and killing our people. Trump says, why didn't she do something about the things of which she complains? Says the chaos and calamity is allowing our country to be infiltrated by millions of criminals. Trump says peacefully and patriotically at the January 6th Capitol on that day. And Pelosi was the one who, according to Stephen Sun's his own book, said that he tried to get some support, some help, and people were ignoring his phone calls. Shout out to the Capitol Hill Chief of Police, Stephen Sun. Trump said these prosecutions were all started by her and Biden against their political opponent, me. That's all true. First of all, Jack Smith is an illegal prosecutor. He's not even a real boy. He is fake. He was illegally appointed, and he stole $24 million from the public treasury to go wage war against Trump in Florida. Judge Eileen Cannon dismissed that case because it was illegal. He should never have brought it. Now, Chutkin is still letting that fake case limp on. And Matthew Colangelo left Biden's office as the number 3 at the DOJ and went back over to prosecute him in the Mercan case, which Kamala brought up with her 34 fake felony convictions for a trial that featured immune conduct in it. That trial and that sentence should be thrown out, and they probably will be here very soon. So she got to use that fake label saying he was convicted when he wasn't. Well, we'll see, right? I think that case is going to ultimately, those convictions, even from the fake definition of that, right? A real conviction is when you're convicted by a jury and then sentenced, therefore the conviction is finalized. That has not happened with Trump. So they'll reverse out of that. And that conviction was illegal. It was illegitimate because it was on the back of immune conduct. And even the government prosecutors have explained that they're okay with the sentencing postponement because it's a big problem. They used illegal evidence against Trump. Kamala still brought it up, still exploited it. She knows better, maybe. I mean, she probably doesn't, but the people who wrote her speech do. They still put it in there. Joe Biden instituted all of them. Colangelo was also with Tish's office before he went to Bragg's office. Now, Kamala also, says Trump, she paid and raised bail to get the violent rioters out of the Minnesota jail. Yeah, so that they could go burn down the rest of Minneapolis. And then Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, and his wife could just open their windows and smell the aftermath of these images. The burning, smoldering hopes and dreams scattered across Minnesota. Sorry. Trump says, is she talking about me? Yeah, probably was. Trump says, I wonder why Kamala Harris won't do interviews or unscripted events. Yeah, for a woman who claims that she wants everybody to get to know her, she doesn't want to talk to anybody and explain anything. Just wants little videos posted on the internet for her. Trump said, lying again about Project 2025, obviously, which she knows, so do all Democrats, that I have absolutely nothing to do with. And it was a fake marketing campaign from them. They brought out the book. They just hammered it home every day, like good Democrats. They just stay on message, even if it's not true, like good little party apparatchiks. Trump says, she said, chart a new way forward, but she's already been in office for 3.5 years and has done nothing but harm. She's also talking about the middle class, but she's the one who broke the middle class, made it unsafe and unaffordable. Who do you think that the inflation hits the hardest? The poor and the middle class, the people who have budgets they're following and they're trying to save and make it, right? Earn enough income to put a down payment on a house and all this. You can't do that if every month your groceries continue to go up. Yeah, they're going up slower than before, but it's cumulative and it's still 2.9 to 3% month over month. That's why things cost what they cost. Kamala broke it. Then we have a bunch of illegals coming in, which means that there are less goods and services for more people. So there's scarcity. So that increased costs. It's just a broken system through and through. She caused it. Now she's projecting on an opportunity economy, whatever that means. Trump already called for opportunity zones, which we actually kind of know what those mean, right? You create actual areas where there's a significant less regulation so that people can actually do stuff. The most successful economic development policy in years. So Kamala stole that again, just like she stole no tax on tips. We also saw Trump said she will obliterate Social Security and Medicare by giving it away to the millions of illegal immigrants who are infiltrating our country. I think we actually heard her say stuff like that. She said she's going to lower the cost of housing, but houses were more affordable under Trump. Also, why didn't she do it? Houses will absolutely go up in cost when she gives people $25,000 that they can use as down payments for free. The cost of every house will go up $25,000. Trump says no specific programs came out of her mouth tonight. All talk, no action. Why didn't she do any of this stuff 3 years ago? Says everybody, Democrats, Republicans, liberals, and conservatives wanted Roe versus Wade terminated and brought back to the states. Like Ronald Reagan and myself, most believe in exceptions. Now that people are voting, which is the way it's supposed to be, I do not limit access to birth control or IVF. That is a lie, obviously. He's been saying this forever and they don't care because they just propagandize their people with fake information. These are all false stories that she's making up that I've never even heard of. It's just words coming out of her mouth. I trust women also, and I will keep women safe. She won't, because the invasion of our country at her open border is destroying the lives of women and the families and the jobs of African Americans and Hispanics. Says she wants to spend all of our money on illegal immigrants that are invading our country. The border bill was one of the worst ever written, would have allowed millions of people into our country, and it's only a political ploy by her. It legalizes illegal immigration and is a total disaster, weak and ineffective. She doesn't need a bill. As president, Crooked Joe and her could have just said, close the border. They made a political decision to open it. So don't come back on Trump and say that he made a political decision to oppose the bill. They made a political decision to open the border in the first place via their 90+ executive orders on this, basically on day one. I didn't have a bill. I didn't need a bill. It's called enforcing the existing law, which the president already has as the commander-in-chief, the executive of that branch. The Border Patrol respected me. They did their job. We had the safest border in recorded history. Trump says she just called to give all the illegals citizenship. Say goodbye to the USA. Adios. She is a radical Marxist. Now, Trump says NATO wasn't paying their bills, which they need to. Almost every country was delinquent. When I said, if you don't pay, we're out. The United States is tired of being a sucker. The money came rolling in by the billions, and I saved NATO. Trump says Russia, Ukraine would have never even started if I were president. She was sent to try to stop it. Putin attacked. 3 days later, Kamala failed. Says she hates Israel. All that stuff was just fake in her speech. She wouldn't even show up to Congress for Netanyahu's session. She caused the attack of October 7th. Iran was broke and didn't even have any money for Hezbollah when Trump was in charge. Says, yeah, the tyrants are laughing at her, okay? She's weak and ineffective. And for 3.5 years, she has done nothing except enabled them to get strong, rich, and powerful. Kamala stands for incompetence and weakness. Our country is being laughed at all over the world. She talks about other countries' borders, but nothing about our own borders. And she's done nothing for 3.5 years but talk. That's all she's been doing tonight. She's complaining about everything but doing nothing. She should leave the speech right now. Go to Washington, close the border, allow the fracking in Pennsylvania and other places, and start doing the things that she's actually complaining about that aren't done. Says she talks about compassion, but she doesn't talk about all of the people she's allowed into our country. A 43% increase in violent crime nationwide, 60% increase in the grapes. Since she's been border czar, crime has gone through the roof. She cheated on jobs to the tune of 818,000 jobs to make our country look like it's thriving, but it's not. Inflation is killing us. And she has led us into failing nation status. She didn't mention China. She didn't mention fracking. She didn't mention energy. She didn't mention meaningfully Russia and Ukraine. And she didn't mention the big subjects of the day that are destroying our country. There are 60 million people in poverty in the U.S. under their watch, and she doesn't even talk about them. There will be no future under Comrade Kamala Harris because she will take us into nuclear World War III. She will never be respected by the tyrants of the world. And says, look, it's crazy Nancy Pelosi looking on saying, where's Crooked Joe? As of 10 minutes ago. And so we're going to keep our eye on Trump's response. He said that he was going to call in to a news show. And let's poke around on X and see if there's any other good updates on any other reaction on this. So we have some posts here. Here's one reaction. Steve Will Do It had this reaction. So for those of you who are feeling this way, this is from Colin Rugg. Steve Will Do It is this fella. He's over on X. Steve Will Do It on X. Here was his reaction to Kamala Harris becoming the president
free from
nominee.
gun violence that safeguards free and fair elections with less vitriol and more joy. Not afraid to face its past.
Can understand the feeling on that. Yeah, I can understand how you feel on that. I don't know that that's really useful for anything, but certainly I can understand the sentiment for sure. All right, so that's one reaction. That's one way to respond to this. But that was not great. Okay, so let's see. Who said what? So Hassan. This guy, right, is kind of a left guy. Is this him? I think this guy's kind of a left Twitch person. He says, "Oh no, this is so bad." And that was at 8:05. Like, "Oh no, this is so bad." Well, that's great. I think it's good analysis from him. I don't follow a lot of his analysis, but I think that was pretty accurate. Yeah. Here's some other reaction. Let's see. Trump called into Fox, and let's see if we can get a good clip of that. If that is out and about, how can I potentially grab that? Let me see. Here was a short clip. I just cut this one. Rupar is clipping right now. Let's see what he's got. Here's Trump.
She didn't talk about crime. She didn't talk about 70% of our people are living in poverty. She didn't talk about housing, really. The trade deficit. She didn't talk about child trafficking that she's allowed to happen because she was the border czar and she presided over the weakest border in the history of our country. It's an invasion. I was there today, as you know, Brett. It's an invasion of our country taking place at our border, our southern border. It's a total invasion. And now it's starting at our northern border also, through Canada. And she didn't talk about any of that because she talks, but she doesn't do. It's no action. But, look, other than that, it was a nice-looking room.
All right, so that is from Fox News. So Trump gave them a call. And let's see if there's any other reaction here. But all in all, I think that's about what we expected from Kamala. Come out, read a statement, try to not say anything consequential, because if she says anything consequential, then she'll have to define herself. And that's obviously a difficult thing for them to do. Once you define who you are, then people can stand against you. Now I know where you stand, and so I can make a decision about that. So what a night. We're now done with the DNC climax event. They've been very excited to have someone who's not Joe Biden touch them for once. And Kamala's different, right? She's new, fresh face, and Democrats really don't care about policy. They just care about party. So they'll fall in line. But now, my friends, let's see what you have to say about this. We got some great comments that have come in. And we're keeping our eye on what's going on over there. I thought we were going to have Beyonce or something. Was there a special guest? Like, what was that? Did Beyonce come out or something? Was there no special guest? There was a bunch of rumors about that earlier on the day, but apparently that didn't happen. So what's going on, my beautiful friends? Lenny Malley in the house. Thank you, Lenny. Reminding everybody to hit that like button if you are here. Thanks for doing that. Thanks, Lenny, for the reminder. Hey, Premier Detailing Auto Spa. What's up? Became a supporter. Grab that members only stream. We got this one from Premier Detailing. Bringing in 20 new members. Man, thanks for that. Premier Detailing Auto Spa. It sounds like you got a nice YouTube channel and a nice business. It's nice to have a nice detail person. Check out that channel. What's up? Bringing in Mike Homehead. What's up? Mike W. coming in. Michael. We got Derek and Sam Evans. Welcome. Cole McDonough. Spin Effect. What's up? Julie B. came in. Mo Lester is in our community now. Be careful. Stephanie Best is here. Jeff Elston. Renee Barnes. What's up? James Hatfield from Metallica. El Diablo Blanco in the house. MTS Anonymous. What's up? Jennifer shouting out Premier. Donna Greathouse in the house. Mother of Papillions, welcome. Philip Hart, TACPay, Bria, Max Deplorable, second A, and Leslie Enoch in the house. Gifted members, courtesy of Premier Detailing Auto Spa. You're the man. Thank you for that, Premier Detailing. And look at this happy pup right there, too. What's up, Angry Lieutenant? Bringing in the Grumpy Englishman. Welcome aboard, the Grumpy Englishman. Bill Robb is bringing in 10 new members. Thank you, Bill Robb. Look at these 10 members. Kimberly Gabaldon, Jekyll-Eyed, Mike Nix, T-Mac, Leah Rogers, Greg, Dale Davis, Andrew Davis, Strutterland, and Dan Hill. All gifted members, courtesy of Bill Robb. Welcome aboard, Bill. Thank you, Bill. And welcome aboard 10 new members, courtesy of Bill. Hey, Gator Aaron says, listen to that joy. So much joy. Much joy. The most joy. They're hysterical with their emotions. Just relax, okay? We have a country. It's like serious business. Stop it with your weirdness, your joyous hystericism. What's up? NY says, Iran was contained out of money and options. Biden gave Iran cash within the first few weeks, and they started funding Hamas to plan for October 7th. NY says, hey, they ended the thing. All right, so that's over and done with. All right, so we've got here, NY says, Leon Panetta leaked info to the writer of Zero Dark 30 and didn't do 1 day in jail. People who leak the same info do years in jail. Thanks for the DOJ. Thanks, DOJ. Oh, it's a double standard, obviously. What's up, NY? What's up, Jeannie B? Thank you, Jeannie B, for sending in a nice, for becoming a supporter. Woo, it's amazing. Welcome aboard. Steph D. Membo for 6 months, 2/3 of the way to a baby, says, this is sickening to listen to. I hate it. It's the Democratic Party. It's good for us to know who they are. Now we do. Bill Robb says, who else is looking at Panetta, the CIA director, and seeing Ren and Stimpy singing Crappy Crappy Joy Joy? I never really watched that show. I think my mom didn't allow it. I was like, that's bad for your brain. She's probably right about that. Hey, NY says, I admire the flags and the USA sign. Yeah, it was nice to see them. Obviously, a PR mind is running the show at the DNC. It will melt away quickly once the real world situation comes up. Yeah, they've been running as Republicans. It's been interesting. Even though Kamala is one of the most liberal people in the world, like they're rebranding her as a tax cutter, and they're trying to reconstitute the word freedom, right? That's going to be their word now, trying to own that word or something. It's a marketing campaign. Hey, what's up? Wellesley BDB in the house says, Rob, I tried watching by myself earlier tonight and thought I was going to lose my mind. Your laughter makes me feel better and not alone. Thank you, Wellesley. Yeah, it's tough to watch it alone. Even I'm watching it alone. I'm like, this is terrible. Can't wait to talk to our friends about this. What's up? Thank you, Wellesley. Thanks for saying that. We got NY says betting markets are now swinging to Trump. Yeah, and as I think tomorrow's going to be big. So tomorrow's going to be fun because it looks like if this happens, right, it's going to really blunt a lot of the enthusiasm for Kamala today. More money on Trump. Harris loses lead in betting odds despite polling success. Well, the polls are fake. Hey, Curtis Bartle says, keep up the great reporting, Rob and mods. Thank you, Curtis. We got the best mods in the house. Donuts clipping for us today. 51K says, Rob, what do you think the chances are that Trump will make it back to Arizona before the election? I'd have to blow off work to go to that rally tomorrow, but if it's the last time he's going to be here, it'll be worth it. I would guess he'll be back. I would guess. It's a swing state. I mean, he's probably going to hit as the election gets closer, he'll probably be back here. I think he'll be back here. I mean, he'll have to be back here. It's only August. So he'll probably have an October event for sure, I would guess. Tomorrow will be good, though, because RFK might be there. Just saying 51K. But work's important, too. We have to be responsible adults. And we love you, 51K. So if we see you, we see you, you know. Can you get off early? Maybe. I don't know. What's up? Family Shopping says, remember when Biden felt up Eva Longoria on stage? I do remember that. She's like, no, you perverted freak. She had to remove his hand from her boobs. What's up? Family Shopping over on Rumble. Good to see you. Our Rumble friends, man. Family Shopping. Thank you for that. Sheila Poo, a million hugs to you. Bringing in new membos. Golden Gaming shouting out Sheila Poo. Go Ho Shane is here, and Doug, what's up? Ohio Light, Chris N, and Marjorie Wolcott. Gifted membos, courtesy of Sheila Poo. Thank you, Sheila, for bringing in 5 new membos. We got the Back Porch. What's up, the Back Porch? Became a new supporter. Check out the stream from this morning. It was another good one. MAGA Hat Stay says, has anyone at the DNC brought up the wars going on? Has anyone? Well, she did tonight. She's in favor of all of them, is what it sounds like. NY says, regarding the Arizona law, even though the federal form doesn't have robust checking, the federal form is like a talisman against illegals. Violating a state law is one thing. The federal law is what these illegals are afraid of. Lying on it isn't a felony, like Hunter. Yeah, but who's getting charged? Going forward, this could be used in amnesty and deportation hearings. I know illegals that won't even fill out anything for fear of the immigration implications. Yeah, I don't doubt that at all, but I'm just saying, what if they fill out fake names and fake forms and they just send it in? Is anybody checking or verifying these things, right? That's the point, is people want to verify that you're actually like a real individual. And by the way, it's also illegal to not show up to court, okay? You got a notice to appear. You're an illegal. You are noticing to appear, right? Come to court. First of all, we know that there's about 290,000 of kids that never even got those notices, which is insane because they're now gone, being trafficked somewhere. Thanks, Kamala. But in addition to that, there were 32,000 of the kids that did get those. I promise to appear or else. They're not coming because they don't care. They're not going to, and at some point they're probably banking on amnesty or whatever. But yeah, I get your point, NY, but my point is they don't care. Says Democrats cheat at Monopoly. They want to keep people off ballot, stuff the ballot box to win the elections for power, straight out of rules for radicals. Neuro says, hey, Rob, not sure what changed, but Rumble is live only. No way to go back or catch up or even pause for a minute, just an FYI. Yeah, we did not. I don't think we made that change today. Maybe we did unintentionally. If we did when we scheduled it, I did not intend for that to happen. But it may also be because they just have a lot of bandwidth today because, they may have just flipped it over into live only mode. But I'll double check on that because we want it not to be in that mode. What's up? But thank you for that tip, Neuro. We got Queen Tara. What's up, Queen Tara? Welcome aboard as a new supporter. Super grateful to have you. We'll see you on the member stream this morning. Premier Detailing Auto Spa says a blind man can see what's going on. A deaf man can hear it. How countries are saying America is a circus run by clowns. We need him back in 2024. You're right about that. And they're treating us like clowns. They're just walking right into Ukraine. What's up, Carl Peterson? Hey, Arizona flag in the house. Shout out to our friend Carl Peterson. Hopefully you're registered to vote. Hey, what's up, Neoe? 5 membos coming in. Bringing in Dissident Porcupine. Melissa's here. What's up, Robert Gilman? Welcome. William Roach. And we got, this one looks like it is Jai Dubs. What's up? JL Dubs in the house from Neoe. Gifted membos. Courtesy of Neoe. MAGA Hat Stay says, I heard she had been drinking all day. She didn't look or sound drunk to me. I don't think so. I don't think she sounded drunk to me. She would have been slurring a little bit. She would have been cackling a little bit more. She definitely does look drunk in other situations, but I think she looked fine tonight. Goofy for Jesus says, we need a poll. How long did Harris speak? Okay, so who won that? Was it the overs? Who probably won that? The overs won it? I think it was over 32 minutes. Probably what it was. Yeah. Goofy for Jesus. Thanks for that one. Zena Xavier, 17 months. Man, that's a lot. That's almost 2 full babies. Holy. 47 minutes was the guess. Thank you, Zena, for becoming a membo. and being a member for 17 full months. That's a long time. We've seen some business. Hey, Sheila Pooh is bringing in 5 more members. Thank you, Sheila. We got Liz is here. Big Don, what's up? Sandy, Colorado, not Eminem's mom. And Julie Jordan, gifted members, courtesy of Sheila Pooh. A million hugs to you. MJ Powell flagged it. Hey, and MJ Powell, we missed you yesterday, brother, but you snuck in 20 members. I think you gifted us yesterday. And thanks for that, MJ Powell. Very sneaky of you at the last minute. We're grateful for it. But I know we got 20 members courtesy of MJ Powell yesterday. If you came in at the last minute, there's your boy. Bill Robb, what's up? Speaking of members, Bill Robb is bringing in more members. Man, we got so many new members. I'm so happy and excited. What's going on? We got Josh Powell, chair rocking, Kathy Chinette, Cruz, Red Eye, Ian Keeler, Matthew, Anything Goes, Conspiracy, No Whammy in the house, and CS 101, gifted members, courtesy of Bill Robb. Tomorrow's members only stream is going to be lit. Carl Peterson, what's up? 2 months as a memo. Says under 32, there just isn't enough substance. So yeah, if you took all the BS out of there, it's like what, 60 seconds of something? Did she say anything meaningful in the whole speech? I think the overs had it. What's up, Rose? Rose in the house, new supporter. Thank you. Or Rosie, Rose, good to have you as the newest supporter. We got NY says, okay, so I admire her story, but the stakes are too high. A good story's not enough. Yeah, the job isn't an American Idol contest, okay? We need policy and leadership, not a human interest story with a communist twist. Matt Ostrander on YouTube says, stood in the courtroom and kneeled in the back room. Oh, I see what you did there, Matt. You're talking about Kamala there. Gordon Beaton says, this speech is a painful lesson in hypocrisy. Yeah, and it was not accurate at all, not even true. She just said a bunch of stuff about Trump. There were like literal lies in there about his policy positions on abortion and many other things. Goose Toots, what's up? Says, my grandma speaks Kamala. Watch out, from Goose Toots. Sentinel says, did I miss the Willie Brown climbing up the ladder part? No. She didn't mention that one. That's not part of her origin story about how she got her start. What's up, Julie B? Says gag. Ah, totally. Very simple, very pithy, straight to the point, and dead accurate. What's up? Tara Rayner says Harris for the people. Not you people, though. So Kamala was an Indian today? Does she change back? It's hard to tell. 15 months as a member. What's up, Tara? Thanks for that. Sheila Pooh says, OMG, everything she is saying is stolen from Trump and the MAGA movement. This is straight up plagiarism. It sounded very familiar. They even had American flags out there to try to sell other Americans that they care about the country. We know they don't. What's up, MAGA Hat says, Aretha, Coltrane, and Gumbo and the civil rights movement. So, yeah, those are things. Coltrane? Yeah, anyways. We got NY says, Kamala Harris backed Freedom Fund that put murderers, rapists back on the streets. Still up and running, still accepting donos. There's the background on that story. Thank you, Donut, for opening that up for us. Tim Mathis says, don't forget that she covered up for rapist priests. Did she do that too? Oh, she buried a bunch of evidence. There were like innocent people who didn't get, were trying to get out of custody. And she's like, no, we're not going to test your DNA and see if you're actually innocent. Then turns out they were. Hey, CL says no Southern accent tonight. No, not tonight. It was a different audience. And so she was code switching for mainstream America. She didn't have to fake it for her audience tonight. Hey, CL says the lies sicken me. You and me both. And they just drop them like it ain't nothing. They just lie like it ain't nothing. Julie B says, what the F is she even talking about? It's projection. Yeah, they make it up. They just make stuff up. And then they relabel themselves as perpetual victims. Jay Dizzle, what's up? Says, I just want an active count of how many times they use Trump's name. 1,000%. Somebody will tally them up, and we usually have those numbers in the morning streams. Trump's team has actually been digging those out and creating press releases about that. Goofy for Jesus says, just sitting here waiting for Kamala's pants to catch fire. Total liar. CL says, where is the policy? Well, we have to elect her president before we know what it is. It's in her head, just like Nathan Wade, where he kept his legal files in the Fannie Willis saga. Hey, Sentinel, 4 months as a membo, says, okay, let the Hunger Games begin. Yeah, the honeymoon little climax event is over now. Right now, the convention's over. let's see if she actually sits down for an interview anytime soon. Answer, probably not. What's up, Sentinel? CL says, she forgets that she's actually in the White House. She's the vice president. Pretty important role. And they told us back then that it was a historic first black female vice president. Historic. And that this was going to be like amazing and historic for all these reasons. And then I guess now that was really just a meaningless, totally inconsequential position, and she was responsible for nothing. Got it. What's up, Goose Toots? Says, in the end, God has his will be done. Don't fret, America. Yeah, we had a good conversation about this morning. We talked about the difference between the pattern and the bad indicia that our side faces. A lot of the difficulties, and there are many. We talked about it. There's also something else on this other end that we've seen in this election cycle, and it was a great convo, so I agree with this. Jack says, can't listen to her nasally voice this thing long. Please be under 32 minutes. Please be under 32 minutes. Unfortunately, it wasn't. We all had to suffer. We're going to need to get some good sleep tonight so our IQ points can recover, all right? Tomorrow's a whole new day. This old guy, what a nice dono, says, she's not exactly delivering a barn burner of a nomination acceptance. It will be interesting to see if any MSM has the guts to fact check this fiasco. Yeah, it was just filled with lies. She perverted Trump's policies at every turn. And I think she made statements that don't comport with her own record, even as the vice president, the administration's record. So we'll see. Now, she also didn't say much substantively so that they couldn't fact check her, right? It's just platitudes like Obama. They're trying to Obama it up, man. They got like 70 days to just slap a blindfold over most of America. We'll see if it works. What's up, this old guy? Thanks for the nice dono. Tara says, Kamala Liar, that's good, has admitted she's Indian, but only today. NY says, I want to do a commercial against her. A defense attorney subpoenaed me to testify on behalf of a patient. The patient was dialysis. It was involving medical marijuana. Kamala's prosecutors were so angry I showed up. They tried to subpoena every patient I wrote a controlled substance prescription to without an accusation. Thank God the judge sided with me and denied this request. It cost me a lot of money. Yeah, she's a nasty, nasty person and a terrible prosecutor. And she tried to bring that out. I thought the Democrats had a tremendous disdain for prosecutors and law enforcement. Now they're the party of law enforcement. They're the party of war. Wild. Good to see you, NY. Goose Toot says, Luke 23:24, Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Kinzinger says she's plagiarizing Trump's campaign, has a history of doing that. Matt Ostrander says she just pooped on her own party. Sheila Poo says, wait, manipulate with favors? That's been Joe Biden for 50 years. Yeah, and it's now coming out, right? We saw the Hunter Biden expose when his trial starts very soon. That's in September. We saw that the DOJ is even bringing this to everybody's attention, that Joe was the father of basically a foreign agent, which was Hunter. Finn Contracting says, Z's, tired, falling asleep, boring, lame. What's up? Jack Mack says, she's just squawking every lib keyword and talking point. These folks just nod and clap and bleat like sheep. Stop clapping. She might lose her place. Yeah, the party of seals, the sheeple in the house. Says she's probably been practicing this speech every night in the mirror for the last 2 weeks. Please shut her up, please. I'm feeling burdened. It was. We were all burdened by Kamala. We were burdened by what has been, and we're still burdened by that. It's going to be a little unburdening. We're going to need some unburdening. That's why we're going to the Trump rally tomorrow. Hey, what's up? Art Pollard says, I am now unburdened by what has been. We were all burdened tonight. Extremely burdened. But now that the speech is over, we've been unburdened by what has been. We have a little bit of burden hangover. It's going to percolate in our brain cells for a bit, but we'll be okay. Thanks, Art. What's up? Matt Ostrander says, be a proud American. Then why do you want to fundamentally change America? Because they don't like America, quite frankly. They want to recreate it in their own image. Hey, Kathy Chenette says Obama wrote that speech. She was trying to do the Obama thing at the very end, if you noticed that. Definitely sounded like an Obama vibe. Lady I says, boy, she's in the unenviable position of trying to marry yourself to anything she wants to take credit for while maintaining that she is a new and fresh candidate for all the things she wants to avoid. But of course, she's just handling it as they always do with lies. You can't razzle them with brilliance and baffle them with BS. MJ Powell says, this was a Kamalamity. Turn out the light. The party's over, my friends. Penelope says, Douglas Harris, her dad, is still alive. Where is he tonight? That is a good question. Is he still alive? That is interesting. Art Pollard says, if she wins, do we get Dookie in the streets too? Yeah, just like San Francisco, Art. It's going to be the new America. It's going to be more equitable, okay? They have crap in their streets. Now it's your turn too. Oh, looks like you're a white guy too, so extra crap for you. Hey, what's up? Christopher Levesque says 38.7 minutes. I literally called it to the second. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Was it that? This is that? Yeah. The over-under, I'm pretty happy with, man. We split it right down the middle. 52% said over, 48% said under. That's what you want in a good over-under pick right there. That was good. Yeah, that was good. What's up? So I'm happy with that. Anyways, shout out to our over winners, including myself. Hey, Sweet says, Rob, how do you feel about a woman president? Are you in the no women for president category, or would you vote for the right candidate? The latter. I'd vote for the right female candidate. This came up in the chat tonight and wanted to know your perspective, so I should know if I should keep my subscription. Well, I don't know what perspective you want, but that's my position on it. Yeah, I'm open to a capable person. I just want a capable, competent person. And if it's a female candidate, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't have any strong opinions against that. If she was, a hell of a candidate, let's go. Let's do it. What's up? Lady Ice says also, she has been, anybody's a great candidate, right? That's what we want. We just want good candidates. I don't care about color, race, none of that crap. Like, we just want competent, capable people. Everywhere. That's all. Lady Ice, what's up? Also, she's been taking speech lessons from Hillary. Ooh, my ears. Yeah, Cliff Norman says, we had a gathering of neighbors in Seabrook, Texas that viewed the DNC as a waste of time. Anti-Kamala, proud of my neighbors. That is great. That is great. Yeah, that's great. I think that's awesome, Cliff. Like, that is a really nice thing. I'd like to see a lot more of that. How do you get people together to get excited, have these watch parties? Let's unify, baby, and do stuff offline. I love that, Cliff. Thanks for sharing that. Hey, Tyler Fujimoto says, LOL at someone who's not Joe Biden. LOL at someone who's not Joe Biden touched them. Yeah, they're happy about it. They've had a little political dry spell. They've had Joe Biden for 3.5 years, and Kamala comes out. And she's like, hey, look at me. And suddenly they're all excited. Hey, Miss MAGA became a supporter. Good to have you, Miss MAGA. Thanks for being a supporter. We'll see you tomorrow on the members only morning stream. Hey, Tyler says, good to see Metallica Labor Day weekend. Going to see Metallica Labor Day weekend for my 30th birthday. Your birthday's on Labor Day? When's it? Mine's in that area. I am taking my 6-year-old son one of 2 nights. It should be awesome. Heck yeah, man. Hey, Metallica apparently just joined as a member today, James Hatfield. So that's cool. Metallica, your 6-year-old son, man, that'll be fun. Shout out, have fun. And have a great time. Thanks, Tyler. What's up? V is never silent, says, thanks, Rob, for hanging with us. Thank you, V, for hanging with us, baby. It's been a great stream. And Tanya, thank you, Tanya. It's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the dono. Had a ton of fun with you guys. Ray K, what's up, says, 4 years to fix mail-in ballots, overseeing election stations. What has been done? Where is MAGA's Mark Elias? Well, there's a lot of great people who are working on this, like America First Legal and some other ones. Republicans are trying to build infrastructure, no doubt. And we have a billionaire now. We got Elon. I think it's good. But the Democrats are still, I don't know, especially legally, 2 decades ahead of us. It's a lot, which is why it has to be too big to rig. We can't just rely on the lawyers. We have to drag our friends and family and citizens to the polls. Hey, Tyler, what's up? Gifted Membos, Taylor N, what's up? Mayor of Baseville, we got Angels in the house, MM79, and No Channel, Gifted Membos. We got MAGA Hat Stays, says, did you see the victim speaking at the border? After hearing that this speech will make you physically ill. I listened to the clips, and we played some of the one woman speaking today. But yeah, it's a sick situation. I've been in Arizona my whole life, and I'm well familiar with it. MAGA Hat Stays says, I will be president of all people, hope and change, from Kamala today. Tremendous says, I got to be honest here, her speech was pretty good, will be celebrated by her base in the mainstream media. Our only hope is that the American people will be smart enough to see that there was no substance to it, no real mention of policy or how she would pay for those policies. We also need to hope that the American people can see through her lies, because we know that there won't be many from the mainstream media that will call her out on her lies. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment, Tremendous. If you don't know Kamala, and this is your first time meeting her, you're just, some voter who's just coming to this, it sounds great. That's what they're banking on. They're banking on a bunch of people who don't know the depth that we do. If it's just a facade, yeah, it could be great. Right? You could do that with Trump too if nobody knew anything about him and the media was covering for him. But I agree with you. Hopefully the American people recognize this is a scam. It's a bait and switch. It's not democratic at all. It's a fake candidate by a fake party. Hey, Jack Mack says, if any MSM fact checks, if any of them do, it's going to be Jake Tapper. He seems like he's been a little bit more critical lately. Kamala lied. She's a boy. Jack, she's a real boy? I don't know where that one's going there, Jack Mack. Is Tapper saying that? All right, we'll see if Tapper says anything about it. We'll come back and follow up on, we'll have a follow-up tomorrow. Thank you, Jack. What's up? Libby T says, I couldn't listen to Kamala's whole speech. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. We tried to do it together, but I understand if you have to bail. Hey, MAGA Hat says her dad's name is Donald John Harris. That's hilarious. That's why she has daddy issues. That's why she hates Trump so much. You remind me of my father. All right, Kamala, relax. Dan Sundin says, after that Kamala screech, my ears need to be purged of the infestation. MAGA Hat says, as a woman, let me be clear. Kamala can't be the first. The Frog Feeder says, tell him I want Trump to win. Tell them all I want Trump to win. We're telling them right now. You just told them. Thanks for telling them, Frog the Feeder. We got, Kathy Chinette says, will be unburdened when Trump is elected. A lot more unburdened than we currently are. And Bobsco in the house, bringing in one new membo, Navy Styles, gifted a membo in the house. And so it looks like Bill Robb just sent in 10 more membos. Oh my goodness, Bill Robb, you're just so many membos today. Thank you for doing that. My friends, we're going to leave it there. Locals, it's going to boot us off any minute now. And so we're going to wrap it up there. I know we have some comments on locals, but we'll hit those up in the morning because I think we got like 4 minutes left before it boots us out of here. We'll see what we can get to while we're here. But we got just a few minutes left, my friends, on YouTube, on Rumble. Thank you guys so much for sending in those donos. Appreciate those. Sweet says, that was a joke. My bad. I'm a mood killer. Oh no, Sweet. About the subscription? No, the mood's great. The mood's tremendous. Sweet. You didn't kill anything. The mood is just as joyous as could possibly be. We just got done listening to Kamala. All right. So thank you, Sweet. Hopefully you're good. It's a good question, It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't feel like the mood was killed at all. All right, we got some friends on X. Let's see. What's happening on X? It's going to boot us off any minute now. On locals, we had a couple comments on X. Glocky's here. Oh, this is a great point. You can't have high grocery prices if there's no food. That's pretty smart. Inflation's going to be solved because you'll be dead. You're welcome. Biggest says, how is Adam a Republican? He's not. Pamela says, man, they must have paid a lot of their guests or reminded them of something they don't want to know. And Jane says, watching you from North Carolina. You got a great show. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Pamela. And our friends on X. It's great to see everybody. All right, so we are going to go over to locals in the morning. And we'll say hello to our locals friends. We got some extra comments over there that we're just running out of time for, as you can see. Look at all these smart people here. And so we're going to come back in the morning, my friends, for our locals comments and for our YouTube membos. If you're not a membo, consider becoming a membo. Grab the link and we'll see you in the members chat in the morning, tomorrow morning, on Friday. Now, we are not going to have a regular show tomorrow because we're going to Glendale. We're going to go see what's going on at the Trump rally. Don't know what's going to happen. Some people are saying I might be taken out by someone, MAGA extremists or something, or federal agents. We don't know. But we're going to see if we can survive over at a Trump rally with a special guest. And it's going to be fun. So we're going to stream from there. And it's going to be great. My friends, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for navigating through this day 4 of the DNC with us. We had some fun. We're going to get back into it tomorrow. Until then, I hope you have yourselves the greatest sleep you can possibly imagine. When you lay your head down, you fall asleep instantly, and you wake up feeling refreshed and restored and ready to go. We're going to come back tomorrow to get into it all again. In order to do that, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Sleep very well. See you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.